I'd like to welcome everyone to the May Elizabethton Board of Education meeting. At this time, we'll call it to order, and I will turn it over to Mr. Van Huss for a moment of silence and pledge the flag.
Thank you. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, it's time to approve consent agenda and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All right. Any items need to be moved or discussed at this time? Okay, seeing none, the items to approve consent agenda and regular agenda, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. This time it's time for citizens to speak. We did not have anyone request to speak before the board tonight, so we'll move on to special recognitions. We are very appreciative of the large crowd and the number of students we're able to recognize and teachers as well. If you haven't been here before, just to let you know, we'll go through these recognitions, then there will be a time where I'll give you a chance to leave unless you just choose to stay, but we'll let you exit that point and then we'll move on with the rest of our agenda, okay? So I'll turn it over to Mr. Van Huss again.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'll call Mr. Colbert to come up, and he will start off the recognitions.
And again, thank you very much for letting us do this. So again, there's a long list here, and it says like health science students first, but before you do that, if you would allow me, quick history lesson for those of us old enough. Remember, some of these club names have changed over the years. So where it says health science, understand we still kind of sort of have a HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America, but a lot of our health science students this year did Skills USA. They have for the last 2 years, quite simply because the HOSA conference has lately been falling on spring break. So cool, we'll just do another one. So as a reminder, all of the students in CTE at the high school are eligible for Skills USA. Only like the health science students do HOSA, and only the ag students do FFA. But again, everybody's eligible for Skills USA. So you're going to hear a lot about skills tonight. So again, that's where a lot of this does come from. So again, short history on that, but now let's go ahead and get to some of this. I will go ahead and do one though. We have an FBLA student that was not on the agenda, but he, by the way, also competed through Skills, but competed through FBLA, qualified for nationals. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this because Mr. Clevenger's not here, but Wesley Taylor is here, I think, yes. He got in right as the bell rang, so we'll give this to Mr. Taylor. No, Sarah. And again, he and I joke a lot about cybersecurity and Bitcoin and some things I don't really understand. He came in second in the state for investments in securities investments. I was getting backwards. I'll let him explain the difference on that. So tell him what you did.
Yeah, so I took a test called Securities Investments. Essentially, it asked me questions about the broad securities market, hedge funds, mutual funds, 401ks, stocks and bonds, all sorts of that manner, and I was just able to get to participate in that as the sole student in FBLA this year. But I got second this year, one place better than my place last year, so super happy about that. But yeah, I get to go to Anaheim in July, so hoping to do very well there.
So congratulations, yeah.
If Mr. Colbert, if you guys will slide right over here, you and Wesley will slide over here, and we'll snap a picture real quick.
And I will add what he did not. This will be his third time competing on the national level for FBLA. So
Wow.
3 years in a row on the national level.
Awesome.
Okay, but now we can get back to where it said health science students. And by the way, they will mention skills, but they might also mention a couple other things, and I don't want to take their speech away from them. I saw Ms. Meyer come in, and there's Ms. Duggar, so I'm going to let them explain both what they did in skills and everything else they've done this year, because they've been quite busy. So come on up, ladies.
Okay, hello. So first, we're going to recognize the health science students that placed in the top 3 in their competition at our State Skills USA conference. So we traveled to Chattanooga in April, and these students competed against other students from across the state in their various chosen competitions. So we had 2 that won first place in their competition. So as I call your name, if you guys will step up here, get your certificate, and then stand in the front for a group picture. So the first one was Sarah McCoy, and she placed first place in first aid CPR. And the second one was Princess Russell. She placed first place in health occupations professional portfolio. And then we had some second place winners. I don't think she's here, but Kaylee Shoemake, she actually competed in the business side of competitions, and she placed second in customer service. I think she had some other obligations tonight. All right, and then we had a team, the Health Knowledge Bowl. They placed second place, so that included Kara Carr, Gracie Estep, Mallory Odom, and Taylor Whitson. And we also had a second place finish. Ava George Wilbur got second place in medical math. And Tristan Wilson got third place in basic healthcare skills. So all of these students, with the exception of Ava George, just because she had other plans, they are all going to compete at the National Skills USA Conference in June in Atlanta. And there's only one team or individual per competition per state at this competition. So, yes.
Okay, and the next set of students that we would like to recognize are students that took the cardiovascular services class, which is an industry certification. And last week they sat for and took their certified EKG technician test. And they worked really, really hard all throughout the semester. I'm not going to say that it came easy, because it didn't. There were some tears. There were some frustrating days. There were a lot of days where I probably was not their favorite teacher. But I am proud to say that out of 18 students that tested, all 18 of them passed their certification test. So, very proud of them. Okay, Blake Bowman. Abigail Ferguson. Camden Garland. I don't think Cam could make it tonight. Hannah Hodge. Cooper Jack. Anna Jenkins. Adriana Jones. Isabella Lewis. Shaylee Mathis, Sarah McCoy, Lily McDuffie, Peyton McGee, Kaylin Nave, Lily Purvu, Cadence Vanoy, Taylor Whitson, Ava George Wilbur, and Sadie Williams. Can you what? You can
And then the last group of students we have to recognize are the students that this school year completed nursing education in our CNA program. So we had 3 in the fall and 5 this spring semester that successfully completed that. And that consists of now at least 59 classroom hours and at least 16 clinical hours in the long-term care facility. So these students also worked very hard and completed their test. So far 7 of the 8 have passed their certification test. We're waiting on 1 more just because of a scheduling conflict. But we have complete faith that he will pass as well. So the first one is Adriana Jones. I believe she's here. Jocelyn Julian and Ava George Wilbur. Just line up there, okay. And then from the spring semester, we have Landon Hughes, Riley Jones, Allie Stout, Taylor Whitson, and Haley Williams, who could not be here either.
And I just now looked at Ms. Foster, and I, do you want to go? Because she technically is next on the list, so I'm going to get out of her way because she nodded yes. Okay, so I'll be back in a second.
All right, we have 2 groups to recognize in the theater world as they come up. Go ahead, go on up, go on up. Okay,
Center stage. Here we go.
should be used to that, yep. Okay, so the first, I've added 1 more, the first 7. Yep, first 7 are part of the forensics team. There are more who could be there, who couldn't be here tonight because if you didn't know, May is short for mayhem, and there's just too much going on. And I'll be sure to tell you their events as well. But this is called theater forensics, and that's really confusing because people think dead people, and it's not. It's a forensics like forum, so it's about public speaking and debate. So these are 7 of the 11 who have competed. More have competed throughout the year. We went to 7 tournaments this year on top of district and state. And we've expanded the team, and all the ones that I'm going to name off competed at the district level, which there are 7 schools there, and they all advanced to state, which is a first for us. So I want to give you their name and their event, if you'll just step forward. So Seth Whitehead, he did informative speaking. Abby Say did prose. Alina Little, pantomime, and Alina is first in the state, our first place. Okay. So hooray, hooray, yes. Yeah, we Addie Bentley with extemporaneous speaking. Hannah Daniels with humorous interpretation, and she got 6th place at state. Yes. Luke Carter with TV broadcasting, and Gabe Linebaugh in humorous interpretation. The people who aren't able to be here tonight: Reagan Price did poetry and got 3rd place at state. Natalie Smith did improv duet acting. Callie Smith did dramatic interpretation, and Lorelei Townsend did storytelling. So that is all of them. If you can give them one round of applause. All right, our Lone Ranger here is Lauren Watson. We are busy, so we usually don't do All-State or All-East, but that's an option, and Lauren and I saw it, and we thought we'd take the opportunity. And of course, in playwriting, Lauren got an All-East and All-State distinction. So let's give her a round of applause.
My apologies. When I looked at the agenda earlier, I did not see FBLA. It's on the agenda is EHF FBLA, so they're in alphabetical order by that. So, oops, sorry. But we already got Weston. But to stick back to the agenda, the robotics team has been on the agenda a couple of different times. We've had to cancel because they're a pretty busy group. And again, they had one other big competition. They were waiting to see those results. But I'll let Mr. Lee come up here now and tell you about all those results. There he is in the back. Because again, as he walks up here, we kind of sort of do 3 different robotics. They do the robots fighting in the class just like you'd see in Big Bang Theory, because I'm pretty sure Miss Jamie's giving me a thumbs up on watching that. As well as they did the Drone League, which was awesome, and then they did the Underwater Mate, I forget the rest of the letters, robot. He'll explain all that here in a second.
So thank you for seeing us again tonight. I'll try not to get too emotional, but you guys know how I get when I start talking about these kids. So it has been an unbelievable year. I have been beyond blessed to coach this team. And as I've gone around the community, people patted me on the back and they've said, the kids are lucky to have you. I look at it a different way. I'm lucky to have them. Everywhere I went this year and every competition that we went to, people talked about how good our kids were, how special our kids were, how smart our kids were, and the things that our kids could do. And then I had coaches ask me about, oh, well, you're competing against teams that are from all over the country, and they're magnet schools, and they're all these other paid schools. And I'll put the kids in Elizabethton City up against any kids in the world because they put the work in, they put the time in. They put the effort in, and I feel like we produce the best. And this team has proved that this year. So with that being said, the way our year kind of broke down, I stood before you last semester to tell you that we had won our first RDL regional competition, which qualified us to go to the RDL national competition at the beginning of the year this year. And this team, from what I have been able, the research I have been able to complete, is the first team in the modern era at Elizabethton High School to win a national title. And I present to you the RDL national title champions from this year. In that competition, they took first place highest team score, the top score award, the presidential award, first place overall team, and of course the National Alliance Championship. So it was a very good season for them. Last year, this team took the Rookie of the Year because it was our first year in competition, and to go in our second year and win a national title, I just can't. I can't express enough how special the group is, and the countless hours that these kids put in after school. And I know at times they look at me and they go, "Man, you're killing us," but they put in the work for it, and they deserve all the credit for it because if it's the electrical on the robot or the design of the robot or the design of the boards that we practice on throughout the school, the kids touch and do every piece of that. I'm there to give guidance, and they do all the work. They design it and do it from top to bottom, and it's really just remarkable to see the skill sets that they've earned and learned, and how those are going to help them in the future. It's just the skills that they have are applicable, and they're all going to make a lot more money than I do. So, with that being said, their second competition was the Mate ROV competition. That's our big competition in the spring. Last year, we did not place in that. It was our first year competing, and our goal this year was to go and place, and we did. We won third place in the regional competition. With that being said, they had the top pool score at that, meaning the do part of the competition, get the robot in the water. And what they had to do was really quite remarkable. They had to identify a shipwreck. They had to remove stuff from the shipwreck. They had to fix all kinds of things underneath the pool, and our robot scored better than any robot in the regional competition. We learned again this year. Our business aspects of things was very good, but we know where we need to improve, and hopefully we'll stand before you next year telling you that we're going to a world event. That's our goal for next season. But with that being said, I'll give you the kids and get out of your way because I know we've got a lot tonight. Starting right to left, my only freshman this year, Mr. Josh Ashey. He's our JV pilot, and he also heads props and design for us. Josh, step forward, that way everybody knows who you are. My sophomores, Holly Holtzclaw was unable to be with us tonight. She's props, design, and documentation. Nathan Edwards, unable to be with us tonight, float design, props, and team design. Lucas Gillenwater, he is a sophomore. He is our head programmer. He's a sophomore, folks, and he can program things like nobody I've ever seen in my entire life. He's really, really special. Lead float design and float operator. My juniors, Miss Anna Blackwell. Anna is unbelievable with CAD and 3D design. She's our lead CAD and 3D design, documentation and business process, and she is also one of our incoming captains for next season. She's been elected as one of our incoming captains for next season. Bryson Rowland, this year he was our JV robot driver. He'll be on our varsity team coming up for that next year, and he also helped with props and design. Xander Jones, I can't say enough about this young man. Varsity robot driver, varsity ROV pilot, engineering and design, and incoming captain. And he's done so many special things so far, and he's got a huge season again ahead of him next year. My seniors. Ariana Bashur, props and design, documentation. She's going to be attending Northeast State for psychology this coming year. I'm super proud of her. Kylie Vance Osborne, one of my captains. Company CEO, documentation, lead pool technician. She's going to be attending ETSU with a sociology major this coming year. Cole Wolf, captain, drone pilot, lead engineer. UT commitment on a full ride as an aerospace engineer. Grace Woodby, one of the hearts of our team. It didn't matter what I asked this year or when I asked it, Grace always stood up to help me. And from I need this put up to Grace, I don't know how we're going to get this done, and she helped me get it done. Very, very special young lady. She was our props manager, design, lead pool tech. She's going to be attending Northeast State as a radiology major. Caleb Dillo, engineering assembly and diagnostics technician. He's got my heart. For those of you that know me, I started off as an automotive mechanic. Caleb's going to be attending TCAT in automotive, where he has already completed over a semester's worth of work as a high school student. Vic Gupta, Vic's been with me for 2 years. Props and design. He's another one of those guys that I could depend on to do what I needed him to do when I asked him to do it. He's got a special, doing a lot with his family business when he graduates, and he's just been a pleasure to have as well. Thank you. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity to coach this team, and like I said, it's not me that did anything special. They're the ones that deserve all the credit because they put all the work in. Thank you.
You want to do 2 rows?
All right.
And again, sticking with the agenda, next on the agenda is FFA. So Mr. Agan is here, and he will explain all the good things they're doing. Because again, they are the numbers have grown in FFA and AG tremendously the last few years. So they keep everybody in the building busy. So go ahead, Mr. Agan.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you to the school board. Thank you, Mr. Van Huss, Dr. Minton, Mr. Colbert, for your support. My job would be a lot more difficult without your support, so thank you for that. And I just want to say that career and technical education is where it's at. I'm just blown away. I'm not surprised by any of this because I work with some amazing people, and I have never been more proud to be a CTE teacher than right now. It is an exciting time for our students. It's an exciting time for our community, and so just a shout out to our CTE people. It's been an enormous year in the Ag department. Just a couple of things to recap. We've had over 300 industry certifications, and these are nationally recognized industry certifications that students are able to take with them into their post-secondary education or into the workforce. And I do want to say thank you to Mr. Van Huss. The big hurdle sometimes with these industry certifications is the cost. They add up when you're doing over 300 of them, and he made sure there was room in the budget for that, so thank you, Mr. Van Huss. Nearly 40 of our students have completed college credit either at Northeast State or MTSU, and we're very proud of that number. And I could go on about regional and district contests that we've placed at, but tonight I want to focus on 8 students who received what's called the state FFA degree. FFA is very similar to Boy Scouts, that you can get different levels, Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Eagle Scout. In FFA, there's different degrees that you can earn, and the highest level in the state of Tennessee is the state degree, and this opens the door for them to eventually receive their American degree if they continue earning the hours. A lot of community service, a lot of hours that they've put in both at the school and on their own time. So we've got 8 students. They all couldn't be here, but there's a couple that are here. If you got your state degree, come on up here. I know there's 2. There might have been another one sneak in, but there's 8 total. And tonight I just want to special shout out Hannah Parlier here. She was our chapter president this year. Mr. Seth Whitehead, he is representing. He's going to the Citadel this fall. We also had Amberlyn Grindstaff, Reagan Price, Andrew Mitchell, Lily Walker, Liam Cannon, and Diesel Russell. We've got amazing students, and again, we appreciate your support.
And for teacher recognitions, the first one mentioned here is Miss Katie Duggar, if you want to come back up here. Sorry, I don't have anything actually to give her, but she's being recognized. She was Elizabethton High School Teacher of the Year. So since we only have one high school in the district, she is also the District High School Teacher of the Year as well. Okay, that maybe not be real important, but the next one was. The next one she got was the regional. So now she's a semifinalist for our region and so forth, which is a kind of a big deal because now you're really competing against, I forgot how many, but it's in the dozens of high schools around us. So congratulations to Ms. Duggar. And again, Dr. Minton is here. He maybe wants to add to this. He asked me a while ago if I had something to say. I did, but by the way, I didn't even ask you. Did you have something you wanted to say? and she was also the state award winner last year for her help in community service with all the stuff she does for HOSA. Okay, speaking of which, next, Mr. Aiken can come back up here because this year he is also a state award winner for the Tennessee Department of CTE, and he is the Teacher of the Year for the state of Tennessee. So he will now get to go to what we call the region, except in this case, the region includes kind of like the Southeast region. Kentucky, there's 10 states plus Puerto Rico and the Bahamas, because doggone it, they have CTE as well. So last year, the regional competition was in Orlando, but Miss Duggar did not get to go. Hurricane Helene and everything else got in the way. This year, Mr. Aiken, as a state winner, would go to somewhere in Georgia I never heard of.
Fayetteville, Georgia?
Doesn't sound as nice as where Katie was supposed to go last year, so sorry about that. I don't get to pick these locations, but you've already won the state, so now you're competing against people from, again, Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, et cetera. So congratulations to Mr. Aiken. And by the way, I know Charles Duggar always jokes with me that he watches these things, so I'll look toward the camera. Mr. Aiken is one of the reasons why Charles Duggar is having such a hard time this week, because as we approach graduation, when he gave us those numbers a while ago, I counted, I think it's 306. So Ag alone did 306 industry search. Last year we had 220 total for the school. Ag had 306 alone. And again, most of those are, again, the big value stuff. So if you look at the TISA funding formula, sorry, I hate to make it about money, but Van Hess is smiling. So those level 3 and level 2 industry certs, he has in the hundreds of those. So just imagine how this is impacting your school, not just for the money, but also for the important stuff, the skills that the kids are learning and so forth, which is fantastic. Again, the number I threw out long ago when I first saw it, I was shocked, but I shouldn't be shocked, but it's such a big number. We've gone from the 2021, which was the hybrid year, sadly we still remember that, to this year, the 24-25 year. He went from 97 students to like 270 students. So that is a tremendous jump in the number of students that are involved in the agriculture class, so much so that we've had to get extra people to help him teach ag. So we've been doing various things with the schedule to make it easier for him, because he's very busy doing all the other cool things he is doing. So Mr. Aiken, state winner of the year for Tennessee CTE folks. Okay, and the next one on the list, I'm going to read this to make sure I get this correct. But Chief Behrman is here, and again, I was not military, so I hope I'm saying it right. But Chief was the rank I'm supposed to say, I think. Cool. All right. So, as a chief in the military, he is the National Citizenship Educator Teacher Certificate of Merit. So he has also won our region, not just high school, but cool. He's also the District 1 region for first place for veteran teachers. And so I have this, which actually I think he has something similar to this already, but for a veteran, congratulations. And it just now dawned on me, I didn't even ask Ms. Duggar or Mr. Aiken if you wanted to say something, but they've already talked a little bit. You haven't. You want to come up here and say anything else? Okay, congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Van Hus, thank you for the opportunity to teach our cadets. It's been a pleasure. Dr. Minton, there he is. Thank you too, sir. Appreciate that. It's been a great couple years. We made some good turnarounds with the program, and thank you for, I guess, putting me in for this. And I'm glad I was able to go as far as I've gone. I think as soon as they see this, you know, if there's some kind of packet or whatever, and they see this picture, they're going to be like, nah, we don't want that again. But anyway, appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys.
And I want to mention one other thing. Just, we talk all the time, the best part about Elizabethton is the people, and it's the people that work with your children and my children when they were here. We always want the best that we can get and people that are passionate about what they do, and I think you saw that tonight. But I just wanted to point out that I think it was 2 years ago, I think Meg Foster was a state finalist for Teacher of the Year. We had Dr. Newman, who was a finalist for the State Supervisor of the Year last year. We had all these people mentioned today, and we also have to mention Dr. Minton, who is also a regional semifinalist for Principal of the Year. So I want you to know our commitment is to get the best people to work with our kids, and I think you can see that we're doing a pretty good job of that. So Congratulations, Dr. Minton.
Again, we would love to just say thank you. It is an honor as a board to see what's going on in a system that you represent. And so thank you again for all your hard work, all the varied things that are going on that our students are being successful in. Thank you to all the instructors. And at this time, we will take a short break to let you that need to leave, want to leave, head out. And then in about 3 or 4 minutes, we'll begin back. So thank you all for being here. All right. Thank you all. Moving right along. It is time for our director's update. So again, Mr. Van Huss.
All right, great. So I don't have a lot. That was just great. I love that stuff. It's just so great to hear all the incredible things that our kids are doing and the investments that we've made trying to give kids opportunities to plug in where their interest and passion is, and it's always great to see them succeed. They always represent our community so well. Construction update, they're actually putting some roofing on the entire restroom and entry portion of the facility at the high school is completely under roof now, and they'll start on Monday on the main structure, and they hope to get sections finished in a day if they continue to get good weather. So they'll work on the area over the basketball floor, and then move to the weight room and then the turf area. So hopefully if they get good weather by the end of next week, it'll all be under roof. So continue to move and make progress there. Thanks for those that were able to attend Honors Day yesterday. It was a great day again, much like what you just got to experience right here. And Mr. Smith was up there and recognized some as well, but just the high school did a great job with that. The band, the chorus was just incredible in their performances, and again, just a chance to recognize students and all that they've achieved. It's just a great thing. It's certainly this time of year we're all tired. It's been a long year, but those opportunities just help bring it back to home how well worth all of our efforts are. So just again a reminder, tomorrow graduation at Elizabethton High School. That will begin at 7:30, but we will form up in the media center about 6:30 if you can be there, and we'll get all of our marching orders to make sure that we perform as we're supposed to as well. But excited about that. At this point, it's still on for the stadium.
we'll continue to watch the weather and hopefully we won't have to make a call. But if we're ready, they have the gym set up if needed to move inside. So that's all I have to share.
All right, thank you. And now time for board member reports. I don't know if anybody's had a lot of activity in the last little bit. Anybody have anything to report? I know our next big thing will probably be summer law, probably coming down the pike. Anybody? All right, move on to city council. Mr. Simmerly.
And he has a guest. He may want to double team. They may want to double team.
Yeah, that's
us.
right.
Double
Keep him
team.
straight.
Tag teams.
I tell you what, if you didn't have a tear in your eye watching those students come up there, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And I tell you that every time I come up to this podium, how proud I am of these kids. And Richard and I were sitting there laughing. I said, "Don't laugh too hard. Some of these kids are going to be our doctors tomorrow." We're so proud of them. Oh my gosh, and I've told you this. This is why we do what we do. This is why we spend the money that we spend for our system. And it just, if you don't believe it, we need to get everyone in this room and sit what we just went through. It is beyond incredible. So proud. So
Thank
proud.
you. Yeah, it is.
And not too awfully long ago, I think I was in my car driving down the road, and Mr. Van Huss called me. And I'm not going to give exact numbers, but he threw a number on the table. He said, "Mike, I need some money." And he'd already talked with some other people in the city, but when he called me, my wife said I was a little harsh with him. and I did. I called him back, and I apologized, didn't I, Richard? I apologized. I did. I was a little harsh. But the number he asked for, I just told him our budget this year is extremely tight, as it is most years, but this year in particular. And as a city, we do not like raising our taxes at all. We're all taxpayers if you live in the city, and that includes every one of us. So we don't like doing that. We try to live within our budget, and our budgets are tight, and they're hard, and you want to give your people pay increases. You want to pay your bills and buy your new school buses and new police cars and everything you've got to buy. And I did apologize. And but we did go to work. We went to work on it. We went to Gatlinburg. Each year we go down for our annual retreat. Mr. Barker was there with us. He's in the crowd tonight. We appreciate him coming. But we sat down, and for 3 days, we didn't have any black eyes, but we did have a few hard feelings, maybe. Well, hurt feelings, I'll say. But we worked out a budget. We worked out some compromises, and we worked out a token of money that we're going to give you from this day forward. And that will go into your budget to help you. Not what you wanted. I wish we had the money to give you what you wanted. What we're giving you, just to give you an idea, it represents 1/3 of our increase that we're going to have on property taxes. So what we're giving you is 1/3 of what we put together. And for us, I mean, it was a lot. So, again, I know it's not what you asked for, but it's the best we could do with the 7 of us that were, arguing in the room to come up with some numbers. And I can tell you had some strong support in that room. There's no question you were going to get some money. It was just how much money we could give you. I wish we could give you everything you asked for. Wish we could buy you 10 new school buses this year. If we had the money in the city, we would do it, wouldn't we, Richard? There's no question. But thank you for the teachers. Thank you for the people you've got in your system. We're just so proud of you. And again, we just wish we could do more for you. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say I don't know. We'll have to go back in the records for Elizabethton, but the number that they're prepared to increase our operating budget is probably the largest increase we've had. Oh, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 years. I don't know. I know for sure it's in the last 25 years. So the fact that they went to bat for us, and the bottom line is they helped us save some jobs. That's the bottom line. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to, but they helped us save some jobs. So I know what a stretch that was, and I can't thank you all enough. And I'll be at the next council meeting to grovel and thank as well. But so it just speaks to the support that we have on city council, the people that love and understand what we're doing, and I knew from the get-go that if there was a way to do it, they would do it. And just the fact that they stepped up the way they did is just a testament to, I don't know if you've seen the news, but there's some other school systems and city councils that are kind of going at it right now about some things, and I'm just so thankful that that's not what we have. And I knew at the end of the day, whatever they could do, they would do, and that's what they've done, and we're very, very thankful.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Anyone else want to grovel? Feel free.
You've
Feel
done,
free.
you've
Thank you,
done
thank you, thank you,
well.
thank you.
Thank you, yes. Okay, now it's time, student liaison report, bittersweet. Yes, Hudson.
Yes, this is my last one. So, first off, I'd just like to update you on some things that's been going on recently. We had our senior prom recently, and that went very smoothly. I know there were a lot of things that we requested this year, and all of them were granted, and we had a lot of help from not only teachers, but also administrators as well, and it was just an amazing night for all of us, and I was really thankful that went well. Also, we've had recently Honors Day and the Honors Banquet, and I've had a lot of people they came and said to me that they wanted to personally thank you for putting those events on, because, I mean, they put a lot of hard work in throughout their 4 years of high school, and for them to have something like that, to be recognized at, it means the world to them. They wanted me to thank you guys for that. You guys have made my job very easy this year. I've received like a lot of people asking me to talk about mainly the bathrooms, but that's really it. I haven't had many complaints about anything going on within the school system, mainly just the type of toilet paper being used in the bathroom. And so I think that kind of stands to show that, yeah, it is important, but it kind of goes to show that everything's being run really smoothly, and all of my fellow classmates are very happy to be within the school system. Also, I just want to thank you all personally, because I came in, and as a freshman, I was homeschooled until then, and I came as a freshman, and the whole school system was very welcoming, and I found it to be a home instantly, and I couldn't have wished for a better place to be at for the last 4 years, and so I really appreciate it. And just this year in general, all of y'all have been very, very welcoming to me as well.
I'm
and
his
just,
favorite.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you again for this opportunity. It's something I don't think I'll ever forget. And also tonight we have Miss Helen Hackett, who will be my replacement next year. And she's already been telling me about all the big things she's planning to change as well. So
Big shoes, Helen.
Yep.
Big shoes to fill.
She's a HME kid. She's
Literally
Harold
big
McCormick kid.
shoes, that's
Yeah.
right.
I know she's going to stand in and do a lot of great things. So thank you
Sure
again
she
for
will.
everything, and yeah, I won't ever forget this opportunity.
Well, we're gonna miss you.
Well, Hudson, we appreciate you, and we have a little certificate here we want to give you and a little card from the board members. And so if we can, just real quickly, let's all slide right down here and let Nicole, is Nicole already gone? Will one of y'all snap a picture for us? Okay, thank you.
It's time to move to the regular agenda. The first item on the agenda is to approve first reading of Board Policy 5.602, staff time schedules. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Van Huss, any discussion there?
Yeah, so just to update you here on this particular policy, again, addresses staff time schedules, and we wanted to make sure that the language in there was clear. There are times where I, as a director, may adjust schedules. Sometimes we do summer hours, and streamline some things there. We also, for instance, on the half days of school, the first day of school, the last half day, as well as right before Christmas, that will, I have the flexibility to allow staff to leave a little bit early on those days. So we just wanted to make sure the language in the policy addressed that. So that is all that's in here. That's on page 1, page 9. And then on the second page, all employees are expected to be present during all work hours unless approved by their supervisor. So just wanted to clear up that language to make sure. That is a way, again, that that shows our staff how much we appreciate them.
Yep.
So.
Okay. All right. The items to approve first reading of Board Policy 5.602, staff time schedules. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve resolution of the Elizabethton Board of Education regarding federal projects budget documents and amendments for fiscal year 2025-2026 and henceforth. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
A motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, either one there. All right.
So we talked a little bit about this, and I'm gonna ask Ms. Wilson if she'll come up and just briefly explain to you what this does. It's gonna streamline some things for the finance department, and then she'll kind of walk you through that.
We discussed this in the budget workshop last month, and this is the resolution that if you approve this, then our federal projects budget will be the budget that is in E-Plan. And those budgets and amendments will be presented to you, usually in the consent agenda. So you'll be aware of what those budgets are, and they are public information. That will allow us to adjust our books to accurately reflect what is approved by the state without having to go through 3 months of our amendment and 2 readings with the city before it's an official approval. So approving that not only helps finance, it helps all of these guys who have budgets to be able to accurately see what their balances and everything is without having to do a lot of spreadsheet work. And it will also mean that, as you could see in the proposed budget, there's not a federal programs budget. There's just a copy of what we hope will be the approved resolution. And we will no longer have that in our budget document. We'll just have general purpose and food service.
Any questions for Ms. Wilson on that?
No, thank you for getting that set up. Anything? All right. The items to approve the resolution of Elizabethton Board of Education regarding federal projects, budget documents, and amendments for fiscal year 2025-2026 and henceforth. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Next is a big one. Approve the 2025-2026 Elizabethton City School budget. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so real quickly here, again, just to hit some highlights on this, you have the budget document in your materials. A couple of things. First of all, this includes a minimum of a 2.6% increase for all staff. Based on the teacher scale, there's some higher amounts in there, but the minimum anyone would get in the school system, including classified staff, is 2.5%. 2.5, not 2.6. The teacher is 2.6, but staff is 2.5. Gotcha. Also, a couple of other things in here. Ms. Wilson mentioned about the federal programs budget. Also in there on the second line on page 2, you'll notice the different rates for the contributions for retirement, as well as proposed amounts for health care, for insurance, and those things. The general purpose budget, you'll notice, is decreased by around $2 million from last year. A lot of that has to do with some funding that we set aside for capital projects. It's no longer in there, plus some of the other things that we've talked about from a revenue reduction standpoint. But again, can't thank the city enough for what they did to help us minimize. There are some position losses, unfortunately, but that helped us minimize that. We have, as you remember back during COVID, we added 5 full-time substitute teachers, 1 for each school. Those, unfortunately, will be eliminated, but we were able to minimize that only there. I never like telling someone they don't have a job. That's not something that any of us enjoy, but unfortunately, that's where we are. So also listed on page 6, you'll see that information. We had some other positions that were added actually last year after the school year started. The Niswonger Foundation had some additional tutoring They basically received some additional ESSER funds that hadn't been used at the state level. They were given that, so we're able to hire full-time teachers for the 3 elementaries in T.A. Duggar to do essentially tutoring for, and we focus that on math tutoring. Unfortunately, those positions are gone because that grant funding is no longer there. But again, that has nothing to do with our budget, but unfortunately, those positions will be eliminated as well. So those are the highlights. Again, it's a very streamlined budget from a capital, a maintenance, things like that. We all understand that we're going to have to tighten our belts, but at the end of the day, we're thankful that staff cuts weren't more than they were. Again, we talk all the time, people are the most important thing about our organization, and that continues to be the case. So thanks to Ms. Wilson. I mean, this was a tough year to put this budget together, but thank her and her staff as well. So, are there any individual questions about the budget?
I just, when you think about transitioning from BP to TISA, and then, like you said, all those extra, the ESSER, all the amounts and everything that have gone in, I mean, you don't live in that world of working on that, but I can't imagine how difficult it is to make such a large organization work. So I do really appreciate Ms. Wilson and her people, and thankful it's not worse than it is. So I thank you.
I will tell you this, I asked Ms. Wilson this because I was just curious. So since 2021, from a teacher standpoint, we've raised salaries 29%. Again, when you look at the steps, the minimum is almost 30%. It's 29.3%, I think, at one of the steps since 2021. So the opportunity to do that again and show our staff that we appreciate them. And again, every time we've had a raise for the teaching staff, classified staff has received an increase as well. So, and again, that's a lot attributed to Ms. Wilson finding ways for us to continue to do that, because it takes everyone that's in the school system to make it run the way it does. So,
Any comments or questions? Okay, the item is to approve the 2025-2026 Elizabethton City School budget. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve the acceptance of Mr. Danny O'Quinn's resignation from position of school board member of the Elizabethton City Board of Education, effective immediately. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And second?
Second.
Okay. Again, I'd love for you to talk to Danny. His work in another system, there are just a lot of things going on, making it really difficult for him to give his full effort here. Although this is, this is his home. His kids were part of this system. Wife still teaches, but again, he felt like it had gotten to be more than he could do, and do the job maybe that he was elected to do. So, any comments or questions there?
I'll just say, my conversation with Danny, he's obviously very appreciative, and we certainly appreciate his commitment to the school system for many years. I think this is year 7 or 8? Is that right?
This is he's done 6.5 years.
6.5
years. Yeah.
And so he's not leaving mad or upset or anything like
No.
that. But again, I appreciate Danny. I've known him for a long time, and appreciate him, stepping up for our system.
And he certainly loves our system. So, and he will be missed, but he's doing a great job where he is. So the item is to approve the acceptance of Mr. Danny O'Quinn's resignation from his position of school board member of the Elizabethton City Board of Education, effective immediately. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Last two items are items of discussion. So this first one is to discuss the process for filling the board member Danny O'Quinn's vacancy for the remainder of the term, which will expire on November 30th, 2026. So you have in front of you a document that basically is just a review. Obviously, 2 or 3 years ago, we went through this process, and so we wanted to be consistent. And so this follows what we did at that time. so you can see members of the community, city residents interested in filling the unexpired term. Again, must be a resident of Elizabethton. You need to submit a letter of interest either in person or email containing their name, address, a brief explanation of why they are interested in serving on the board, and please submit that to Miss Cindy Walker. Her address is here, and her email address. The deadline for submission will be next Friday at noon. So interested people would submit that by noon. That will give us a week to look at those people who have submitted interest, and then we could have a special call board meeting to fill the vacancy on May 30th at noon, which would be a Friday. So any questions or anything, an issue with following those guidelines with the way we did? We don't have to make this in the form of a motion, or do we?
I don't think so. I guess, again, just are those dates that everyone thinks
Yeah.
that you can meet? I mean, could everyone attend a meeting on May 30th at noon to make that?
So Ms. Walker will just email us the people who have decided to put their name in the hat. And like I said, it will be for the remainder of that term, which is essentially a year and a half. Comments or questions?
And I have reached out also to Tracy Harris at the Election Commission to just verify that date. If for some reason there was another city election between now and that time may change, but she and I just haven't been able to connect yet. But if anything changes on that, it won't change what you're doing right now. It'll just change how long, what the length would be.
All right. So, any comments or questions about that? Okay. All right. We'll move on then to the last item. Discuss moving the June board meeting from Thursday, June 19th, 2025 to Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Again, Juneteenth being a holiday now, and a lot of people are out and are off from work, and we worried about maybe.
Yeah, we're recognizing that day here within the school system as well with staff. So it just made sense if everyone was willing to move that to Tuesday the 17th. That would allow people that are off that day to be able to enjoy the whole day.
The whole day,
Just-
yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I just think it's the right thing to do, but I'm not on the board.
Okay. Well, is everybody good with that?
Now, we may need a motion to
this?
move that. Yeah, we probably
Okay.
need to vote on
All right,
that.
we'll do that then. Can I get a motion to, or I will make the motion that we move the June board meeting from Thursday the 19th to Tuesday the 17th. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, all right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed, there are none. We good?
I think we are. Do you want to talk any about July?
Just thinking ahead of July, we will have the year scheduled for us at the next board meeting, but the first one will be in July, and that Thursday is the Thursday most of us will be gone to Gatlinburg for the law conference. So we, just looking ahead, maybe to consider moving the July back to Tuesday as well, and then hopefully in August we could get back on our normal third Thursday schedule.
So that would move it from July 17th to July 15th. And that would be part, as he said, part of what you will, when you approve the schedule, the meeting schedule in the June meeting for July through the rest of that year. If we don't have any objection to that, we'll have that automatically
there.
moved.
Yeah. So, and we'll vote on that, right, as we vote to approve
That's
that
right,
schedule.
that's right.
Okay, so we don't need a motion
Yeah.
right now. All right. Anything else? Thank you again for being here. Thank you, Ms. Wilson, for the budget. Thank you, Hudson, for a wonderful year. And we wish you well. Be cool to see what you do in this life.
Best of luck in Big Orange Country.
Yes, yes. All right, can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a good evening.
See y'all later.
All right, we sorry.